Hey guys, my name is Gabby, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be filming my June book haul. Whoop whoop! I have received so many books this month. It's kind of crazy. I think there's at least like 20 books sitting in front of me right here. At least 20. Yeah, I'm really excited, like really excited about all of these books that I've received this month, so let's just jump right into this book haul, yeah. So first and foremost, as usual, I'm gonna start with my 3 book of the month June picks. The first one that I'm most excited about is The Book of Essie. This is about a teenage girl who's a part of this like religious reality TV show, kind of like the Kardashians, I guess, but if they were like religious. And she's 17 years old and she gets pregnant very like unexpectedly, and then the family has to deal with trying to get her like an abortion secretly without the public finding out. That type of thing. It just sounds really like crazy and interesting, so I'm really excited to read this one. Next one is Calypso by David Sedaris, and this is a non-fiction book, I guess. It's a collection of like really funny essays. That's all I know about it, and I'm really curious about this one. Like, I do want to give this one a chance because it sounds really interesting. And the last one is The Anomaly by Michael Rutger. It says if Indiana Jones lived in the X-Files era, then he might be similar to this main character, Nolan Moore, who's a rogue archaeologist hosting a documentary series. It's about this like ancient rock in the Grand Canyon. He like finds this cave, I guess, in the Grand Canyon that no one has discovered yet, and it's about him discovering it. And I don't know if it's like there's something creepy, like it says, what is this strange cave? How has it remained hidden for so long? Like, it's kind of this like mystery of trying to figure out how this cave exists. And yeah, it sounds super interesting. I really like this cover. Next up, I'm going to show you my Page Habit box that I got for June. And if you didn't know, I'm a Page Habit ambassador. So if you use the link in my description, you will receive $5 off your first box when you use the code GABBY during checkout. And Page Habit is really exciting because they have 8 different genres to pick from each month. And you get a surprise book based on which genre you pick. And yeah, the pick was The Perfect Mother for the mystery box, which is kind of ironic because I got this one for my book of the month pick last month. So I actually did read this book last month and I actually wasn't a huge fan of it. But if you didn't know, this book is a thriller novel. It's about these May mothers who all gave birth during the month of May, and then one of their babies goes missing in the group, and then all the moms like go into complete chaos and all of their secrets are revealed that are hidden within this group. And yeah, along with that, in Page Habits box, they always send these really cute bookmarks that I really enjoy, and this one in particular has this really cute little dude bookmark that the feet stick out. They come with little short stories, this really cool flashlight that you just like. So if Page Habit sounds at all interesting to you, then definitely check out the link in my description. Okay, next up, Atria Books sent me Tell Me Lies by Carola Lovering. I got this sent to me for the blog tour that they had earlier this month. And this is a book about a college student named Lucy who moves from New York to California to go to college. And while she's in college, she meets this guy named Steven, and he's just really bad for her, and he's not the best human being ever. And I did read this book this month, wasn't a huge fan of it, but you'll hear more about this in my wrap-up. But goddamn, isn't this just the most beautiful cover? Like, alright, next up, Maya Hughes, the romance author, sent me a cute little book package with her newest book in it. Hughes sent me her new book, Shameless King, which comes out very soon. And this one is about a hockey player. All I really know about it is it's about this girl who's like the queen of the ice, or the ice queen, or whatever, so I guess she's really mean. He's the king of the ice, so it's like, I think this is like an enemies to lovers romance. I'm just interested because it's a hockey romance, and if you know me by now, then you probably know that I'm a huge fan of hockey romances. And in this package, it's so cute, they sent this little like styrofoam puck. It's the cutest. And they also sent this really cool like bottle opener thing, which I really like. So thank you so much to Maya Hughes for this beautiful package. I can't wait to read that book. Next up, Berkeley sent me 2 of their new romance novels that are coming out in September, called Intercepted and The Proposal. So Intercepted comes out on September 11th this year, and it's about this girl who dates NFL players. Like, she's in a relationship with this one NFL player, and then he cheats on her, and then she ends up dating one of his teammates that she didn't know was his teammate, I think, and then it's like, it's called Intercepted because he intercepted her. I don't know, it's so cute. But yeah, and the lead character in this is a person of color, obviously from this cover, so I'm really excited to read this book. And I don't think I've ever read a new adult romance with a person of color as the main character, and that's just fucking sad. And so The Proposal is from the same author as The Wedding Date. That's like the new book that she has out right now. And then this one comes out September 4th this year. And this is about this girl who's a freelance writer who goes to a Dodger game with her boyfriend of like 5 months, and he tries to propose to her at Dodger Stadium, and she's like not ready for that because they've only known each other for a few months, so she has to deny him. And then at the game, she meets this doctor named Carlos, and then they start to form a relationship, and yeah, and then it's about them. And so this one also has a lead character that's a person of color, and the love interest is a Latino guy, so very excited to read this one, because you know Berkeley published The Kiss Quotient, which was one of my favorite diverse romances that I've ever read, and so they were like, hey, we'll send you 2 new diverse romances that we have coming out this September. So very, very excited to read both of these. I hope to get to both of these this summer. Next up, Touchstone sent me 3 of their new releases. The first one is The Color of B. Larkham's Murder. The second one is An Ocean of Minutes. And the third one is Playing with Matches. These are all such gorgeous covers. Like, oh my god. The Color of B. Larkham's Murder follows this 13-year-old boy. His neighbor, B. Larkham, goes missing, and then it's about him like trying to find what happened to him. And it says this is an unconventional coming-of-age story that is told from the unique perspective of a young man with both special needs and special gifts. Yes, that's why I wanted to read it. The main character is a young boy with special needs, and he's like 13 years old. God damn, this cover is fucking beautiful. These like paint splotches like stick out, like they have feels. And then the next one is An Ocean of Minutes, which this one is also like a gorgeous cover, and this one sounds so interesting. It's like America is caught in the grip of a deadly flu pandemic. It's like a love story between Frank and Polly, and so Frank catches the virus, and then it's up to his girlfriend Polly to save him. So she sends herself into the future where they have like a cure, but then I think she sends herself like too far. They promise to meet in Texas in 12 years, but then she's routed an extra 5 years into the future, and he's nowhere to be found. And then she's alone in a changed and divided America with no status and no money, and she has to find her way back to him, and like, holy fuck, it sounds so interesting. And it says for fans of Station 11 and The Time Traveler's Wife. So what? Count me in. I can't wait to read this. This sounds crazy. And then the last one is Playing with Matches, and this is a contemporary women's fiction book about this girl named Sasha who becomes a matchmaker for New York City. And yeah, and she falls for one of the clients, and she's like not supposed to do that, you know, but this sounds super cute. And oh my god, this cover though, guys. I can't wait to read all 3 of those. Like, I'm so fucking excited. Alright, Scribner sent me The Verdun Affair. This is a historical fiction novel. It takes place in 1921, and it's a romantic and profoundly moving novel set in post-World War I Europe and 1950s Los Angeles about a lonely young man, a beautiful widow, and the soldier whose puzzling case blinds them together even as it tears them apart. Interesting. So next, SMP Romance sent me Breathless, which is their new romance that they just came out with this month. It just published in June. And it's a sensual, delightful romantic women's fiction novel. It takes place in London, I think, and it's like women loathe her success and yet admire her beauty, her riches, and independence. But when the jealous wife of her lover moves to have the swan banished from her home on the high seas, she winds up crashed against Spain's rocky coast with no shoes, no clothes, and no name. Taken in by a tortured, sensuous man known as the Artist, the swan comes to know the woman she wants to be, her artist Siren. So like, she's the swan, he's the artist. I'm kind of confused. It's interesting. And I like this cover. I like the pink on it. Next up, Gallery Books sent me The Myth of Perpetual Summer. Yeah, it follows this girl named Tallulah James, and so she takes on the responsibility of raising her younger twin siblings because her parents are like crazy and erratic. And if not for the emotional constants of her older brother Griff and her old guard Southern grandmother, she would be lost. So it mainly just revolves around this girl and her family, and she's like raising her family even though she doesn't necessarily want to because her parents are like not stable. Oh, it sounds really beautiful. HMH Teen sent me Grim Lovelies, which is coming out in October this year. This is a young adult fantasy novel. They sent it in this like really cute little box, and in the box it came with this cute little lip balm thing, and then it came with all these really cute like pins and stuff. I'm normally like not into young adult fantasies, but this one kind of sounds interesting. So she becomes this girl Mata's servant, but then Mata is murdered, so then they only have 3 days before their spell fades and they turn back into animals forever in a desperate attempt to save themselves. Anouk and the others venture into the outside world and discover a well-kept secret. Beasties can do much more than sweep the floors and hang up coats. They exist for a far deadlier reason, and now every magic handler in the city is after them. It is for fans of Marissa Meyer, Holly Black, and Cassandra Clare. And so, I don't know, it sounds interesting. Like, I'm not usually into fantasy, but like, this sounds kind of interesting, and this cover is like really gorgeous. I don't know what it is about this cover, but I really like it. And then lastly, I have 2 books that I bought for myself off of Amazon, and I've read both of them, and I love both of them. And that is Sleeping Giants and Birthday Girl by Penelope Douglas. And so Sleeping Giants is like this sci-fi book, and it's about this doctor named Rose Franklin who, when she was a child, she discovered this giant hand underground, like it was like a giant hand, like she fell into it as a little girl and she discovered that it was buried underground. 17 years later, and she's like a doctor now, and she's going to be like the head of the research that's going to be going into this and discovering what exactly this giant hand is and if there's like other body parts buried underground on Earth. And it's really crazy, and it was such an interesting book, and you'll definitely hear more about this in my wrap-up. And then Birthday Girl by Penelope Douglas is a new adult romance. This is actually the first Penelope Douglas book I ever read. Fucking loved this book, but you'll hear about that in my wrap-up. But it's basically about this girl named Jordan who is 19 years old, and she's dating this guy named Cole. She meets this guy named Pike who is 38, and she doesn't realize it at the time that they meet that that is Cole's father. And yeah, from there on it gets very interesting because she, like, her and her boyfriend Cole have to move back into his dad's house, Pike's house, because of a certain thing that happened with him right in the beginning. So they're forced to move into his house, and from there on it's crazy sexual tension. And I think the thing that drew me the most into this book was the forbidden relationship, because she's only 19 and he's 38, and so there's definitely this huge age gap there, like 19 years. You know, I'm a sucker for forbidden romances, so this was like right up my alley, and god, this was so good. This was like one of my favorite books I've read this year. I fucking loved it. So yeah, you'll hear about this in my wrap-up though. Those are all of the books that I received in June. That was a lot of books. It was a lot. Very excited to read a lot of these. I have a lot of reading to do. If you've read any of these books I mentioned in the video, let me know and we can talk about it in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching as always, and I'll see you guys next time.